Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to first start out by acknowledging all my colleagues who have stuck around and participated in this debate. It is Valentine's Day, so I'd like to thank them and their spouses for allowing them to be here to participate in it. And of course, I would like to thank my lovely spouse who is here supporting me tonight, giving up part of our Valentine's Day. Mr. Speaker, the purpose of this bill is to protect our fundamental freedoms. The core freedom, the pillar of our democratic society, is the freedom of expression. And now it has been argued on the other side that all freedoms are about equal, but without the freedom of expression, truly, the freedom of religion, the freedom of assembly, they really have less value if you don't have freedom of expression to go with it. This is the tool that all truly free and democratic societies use to push the societal norms. Open debates in our society are not just necessary, they are imperative to having a healthy and free Western democratic society. Open debates are what this place was built on. It is what our society was built on. Now, I know that the member from Malpeque doesn't like open and free debates, and that is why he tried to hold Western Canadian farmers away from freedom for so many years. But now, Mr. Speaker, I would like to take the time to address some of the opposition concerns to this. First of all, the Liberal Party really have come forward today and said, you know what, there needs to be, the Section 13 is very important, and protecting against hate speech is critically important, but it's not so important that we should actually have any penalties for those that break it. That's actually what they came forward today and said. The NDP have said that every member of the NDP caucus that has stood up has used the excuse that the burden of proof is too great, that the burden of proof under the Criminal Code of Canada is too great, that it's too complex, and they propose to have 2 tiers of hate speech. And I, for one, don't necessarily understand that. I don't understand how you can have one tier of hate speech that's worse than another tier of hate speech. What we need to have in our society, and when you talk about the burden of proof and you try making it easier, what you are giving up as Canadians is some of your natural rights as Canadians. What they are asking Canadians to give up is the right to an attorney, the right to a speedy and fair trial, the right to face your accuser. Heck, they're even saying that you shouldn't have the right to defend yourself with the truth. The truth should not be a defense in this country. And when my constituents hear about this, when they hear about these quasi-judicial courts, they're absolutely appalled. And that is why I believe it is important that we as Canadians stand up, we defend our civil liberties, and we say that it is time to repeal Section 13 of the Canadian Human Rights Act and make sure that these types of trials happen in an open, fair, transparent system called the Criminal Code of Canada, where there are checks and balances that Canadians have already approved of. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what the core message is for Bill C-304, protecting freedom. The last thing I would like to address, Mr. Speaker, is the hesitancy I see on the opposition benches. Now, I know there's a lot of new members of Parliament in this place, but when I look at the weak arguments of burden of proof, I see people that have already been told by their whip how they're going to vote, so they need to try to formulate a reason why they're going to vote against it. What I would ask members of the other side to do is please throw off the shackles of your whip. This is a private member's bill. Please stand up and vote the conscience of your constituents. I have consulted my constituents on this bill. I hope all members will consult their constituents before they take the time to vote on this, because protecting our freedom of speech is one of the greatest things we can do in this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and God bless.